This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, here on August 26, 2021. And I have an absolute gorgeous woman on the show today, backpedaling a little bit. I'm good friends with Nancy McLaughlin, who played Lisbeth in Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, who never leaves home without that American Express card. And she asked me if I would interview somebody. And I'm always open to interviewing anybody. But when I saw this woman's pictures, I'm like, oh boy, she's beautiful. Of course I'll interview her. Folks, I give you the absolutely gorgeous Hannah Barefoot. How do you do, Hannah?
I'm really well. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I do have to ask, are you barefoot?
Not currently. I have, shoes on. I'm hiking, and as soon as we're done here, so I'm got my hiking shoes on.
Yeah, you go hike with Nancy?
I do actually. I have hiked with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that last name, Barefoot. You must have gotten ribbed a lot growing up.
Well, it's my married name actually. So I did not, but I think my husband did. Yeah.
So your husband's barefoot?
Always.
And you wear sneakers?
Today.
Yeah.
Apparently. Yeah.
Well, your husband's a lucky man. He struck gold beam at you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think so too. But I am lucky too. He's a pretty spectacular guy.
Just doesn't wear footwear.
Well, so to speak.
Before we talk about your career, we have to talk about, how I'm connected with you through Nancy, because you helped her with a few technical issues for Zoom the other night, and then we started trailing off talking about you. I gotta ask, when you were in her pool, were you playing on the flamingo with one wing, or were you in the watermelon?
Yeah, and before that there was a bowl like that you could ride.
Yeah.
The pool, we had already popped the watermelon, so that was a goner. I owe her.
What'd you do that for?
Just mean-spiritedness. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. They just break. They break, and then the flamingo was not there, so there was like a half deflated watermelon hanging out. So
did you spit out the seeds?
Yes. That's why I broke, because I was chewing on it.
You have no idea what we're going on about with you out in that pool.
Yeah, no, the audience does not know. I was at Nancy. So how we connected was his previous guest, Nancy McLaughlin, who's a friend of mine, invited us over to swim in her pool. And she has like a floaty, like a watermelon floaty, and then also a flamingo, but it was kind of also deflated. None of this is Nancy's fault. It's just that she's so stinking generous.
No, it's your fault.
It's my fault. She's generous, and then she invites people over who play too hard, and then the pool stuff gets broken. So yeah. Anyways, so that's when I met you. Was Nancy? I was in the pool. She called down for help, and so I threw on a bathrobe and came up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had you guys got what the interview did.
Yeah, you had to break away from the watermelon.
Yep.
We just pictured you in the watermelon with your bare feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Nancy. Nancy is wonderful. She's I talked to her quite a lot. And did you ever see her in Jason Lives?
I did. Yeah. I've watched all her stuff. She's so fun. She's got a lot of stories, lots of great history, Hollywood history. Yeah.
I love her red hair.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it fits her personality. She is exactly what you see.
Yeah. Well, talk about your background and how you got into acting.
Yeah. I'm from Wyoming. which is, I think, really cool because there's not very many of us. There's like 500,000 people in the whole state. So I got into acting as a kid. I just always loved acting. You know, my parents were really encouraging about it. My dad was an amazing singer, could have been on Broadway, but he was told that he needed to have like a practical job. So he became an engineer instead. But he always encouraged us to just perform. So we were always doing dance lessons, putting on plays in our backyard, you know, getting involved in anything performance-wise that we could. And I eventually just got the bug so bad I went on to theater school. So I went to school at the University of Wyoming for theater and dance and singing. And but I actually burned out then. I was just didn't have a lot of good balance in my life. I didn't have a lot of like self-care or self-awareness to know like when not to push so hard. So I burned out actually after my junior year of college and quit school. That's actually when I got married and then just moved to Portland, Oregon, started working as a banker. And that was soul killing. And because no offense to bankers, but for me, it was just the worst. It was the worst. And eventually I found that I just couldn't do that anymore. And but I didn't know what to do, you know. I was afraid to get back into acting because that lifestyle had really, I didn't have enough boundaries in my past to know that actually you could do it in a healthy way. And so I just got back into it, like not really knowing what I was doing, a little fearful. And it's taken me a lot of time to figure out how actually to be a normal human being and have a good life and be a good, you know, like be a good person and also like a balanced person. So now I feel like, okay, this is a real life. I love acting and I love my life. And that's a huge triumph for an actor, because most of the time it feels like you're always wanting to be somewhere you're not. Like you're always wishing you had the job that you don't have, or the job that your friend's on, or the jobs that you see on Deadline, or, you know, on the trailers. And of course I want more because I'm super driven. But I also kind of have more of a much healthier mindset these days of like, yeah, but my life is actually the more important. Like my real life every day is the important part. And all of that will come. Some of it has come, and the rest of it, like this is a marathon, not a sprint. So I'm not like riddled with anxiety these days like I used to be. And I find more work comes to you when you're just more relaxed about it, which is cool. So anyhow, yeah, I just love acting. So I left Portland, I should say, and now I live in Los Angeles. Yeah, that was 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't have television. I just watch my Blu-rays here. So yeah, so too much reality TV, and I'm like, yeah, not quite so interested in that. But yeah, I do have your list, your IMDb list up here, and there's some films I want to ask you about. So you're going to tickle our fancy on it.
Ooh,
our first one is Off the Rails.
Oh yeah.
Were you off the rails in that?
Fully off the rails, fully nuts. No, that was an amazing movie. That was actually my first lead in a film, and that was such a cool job. We shot that in Albany, New York, and it was about a woman who woke up from a terrible train accident, not remembering part of her life. All she knows is that she's now married to the man she was dating, but all of a sudden out of nowhere, she starts getting getting approached by men saying that she's trying to hook up with them. And she's like not trying to do this, that she's aware of, but all these guys think that she's trying to get with them. so she's trying to piece together this life that she knows nothing about, and it's a thriller. It's ended up pretty exciting, and there's some good action scenes at the end, and I was able to write a song for it, which is really cool because I'm a singer as well.
Oh, okay.
So the final scene actually has a song that I wrote, my husband and I wrote together, and I performed. I love that movie. It's a good movie. I'm proud of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next one we're going to talk about is Besetment.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you're a horror film, you probably would love this if you're a horror fan. Besetment was a pretty crazy, campy horror film about a young woman who goes to this small town in Oregon, ends up getting, it's a little bit like Misery. She ends up getting waylaid by this hotel owner, this kind of sweet, maternal, creepy older woman who ends up trying to hook her up with her not so great son, and then basically keeps her there. So I actually played the detective who was investigating all that. My friend Abby Wathen, who you should totally have on this podcast. She's awesome. She was the girl in that. Yeah.
So when she needs detective work done, she gets you to do it.
Yeah. Well, she just goes missing, so I have to find her, and we do, and it's pretty crazy. That movie is nuts. It's very campy. It's fun, but it's like, oh my gosh, there's a lot. Yeah.
And of course we have Bad Samaritan.
Oh yeah. Did you see that one?
I haven't, but I saw the trailer. I saw the trailer to all these. The problem is with our theaters, we didn't get any of these.
Oh right, because you're in Canada.
Yeah. And I don't have television, so I'm allowing you to yeah, because I'm certainly open to them. I have no problem with that.
Well, Bad Samaritan was cool because it was shot in Portland, so I got to go back to Portland for 2 weeks, and David Tennant is the lead, and he's so amazing. I mean, I've been such a huge fan of his forever. So he's the lead in it. Robert Sheehan is in it, who's great. He's the other lead, and then I was basically, for lack of better words, David Tennant's booty call in that one, but it was really fun, and I just got to work with him, and there was a lot of improv, and he's such an amazing actor, amazing human being. And I worked with the people on that did the Librarians TV show, which I was also on, and so that was cool because it was like going home to Portland, where I got to be and work with a lot of the same crew, because in smaller markets they hire the same crew all the time. So that was really cool to just work with like camera operators I've worked with a lot, or and then the director, I'd worked with him before. So yeah, but David Tennant, he was cool. I love him.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
The legend.
And we have Between the Trees. What were you doing between the trees?
Between the Trees was the same group that did Besetment. So it was another really campy horror film. I got shot in the face in this one. That was fun. So I had a small part in this one. This one was just it was the story of a group of guys who went out into the forest to kind of confront each other about an issue, and also their own demons. And then there happened to be like a real thing in the forest. But one of the demons that the main character was confronting in his own life was how he broke up with me, so to speak. I don't want to say anything more in case people watch it. I guess I already said one thing, but yeah.
Talk about the makeup job to do that.
You know what? It was actually all off screen. So So there was none of that. You didn't actually see. I've done some horror films with some seriously incredible makeup. And I can talk about those. Creepshow was a TV series that I did. And that was not a campy horror film. I mean, it was, but it's like perfect. It's Stephen King. So I loved it. And my episode was written by John Esposito and directed by John Harrison, who's the original first AD on the original Creepshow movies. And also, he was also the composer on the original one. And he directed my episode, which is so cool.
It's funny you say that. Because I've interviewed John Harrison and I met him at Horrorama 2017.
No way. Was that for Book of Blood that he did?
No, he was there with some of the Night of the Living Dead people, and I bought the movie Effects on Blu-ray, which I actually saw screened there, and he had copies on his table, so I bought one. And he signed it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So I've had him on here, and it's
amazing.
What a small world.
He's awesome. He's such a smart guy, such a good director. I loved him. Yeah. So that's that will always be one of my favorite jobs I've ever done. It was by the Walking Dead folks. So Greg Nicotero and so there's a moment with some pretty good special effects. There's lots of good special effects makeup in that one. And I love special effects makeup because I feel like, I don't know, I don't even like watching horror myself, but I love working on them because just the level of creativity and artistry that goes into making something look so real. I just think it's one of the coolest things I know of, Like there's a moment where we have to cut my finger off and it just looks like my finger's being cut off. It's so cool. And for me, I can't watch horror. It just stays with me. It messes with me, but I love doing it.
I used to not like horror when I was a young teenager, but I've kind of grown into it.
Yeah.
But did you see the original Creepshow?
I did. Yeah. I watched it. Yeah.
I like that one. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the follow-ups, but I've seen the original. So
I'm sure you could get it. It's on Shudder. So if you can get the Shudder app, or it was also playing on AMC. But I bet you can get Shudder in Canada, right?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
And Hello Neighbor.
Oh, Hello Neighbor. Some of these have different titles now, so I have to remember what they are. That one ended up being called Kill Thy Neighbor. It was
Kill Thy Neighbor.
Kill Thy Neighbor, yeah. Or was it called The Killer Next Door? Like it had 3 different titles. It was originally called Hello Neighbor, and then, anyways, that one was a thriller about a woman who her husband is killed on their way to have their baby in the hospital, and then down the road his sister shows up and just to help out and be a good family member. I play the sister, and you find out later she has kind of ulterior motives to steal the baby or steal the child because he's her last tie to her brother. So because we were twins. So I'm giving all the spoilers away, but that's okay. That was a really fun one. Andrea Bogart played the other woman, and she's incredible. It was fun. If you don't already get this picture, I play the villain a lot. So
why is that?
That's my favorite role. It's so fun. Occasionally I will play the normal one, but those are not nearly as interesting to me.
I hear that a lot, Yeah. And you have on here The Evening Hour.
Yeah, that just is actually in theaters now. That went to Sundance last year, which was an incredible experience. So that one we shot in Harlan, Kentucky.
Okay.
Which is just beautiful. It's, Appalachia. It's where Justified is set. So if you're familiar with that show on FX, and that dealt with the opioid epidemic in Appalachia. And that was a really special film because it was just beautifully done. So we've talked a lot about the films we've talked about have all been, fairly campy, and those are fun. But my heart has always been in like really good indie film. And not that campy can't be great and wonderful, but my heart is definitely like stories that actually, I don't know, move us in some way. And this one was so beautiful and heartbreaking, and also just really like hopeful at the same time. So this one was directed by Braden King, who's a terrific director. It was based off of a book by Carter Sickles. And then the screenplay was by Elizabeth Palmore, and Philip Ettinger is the lead of that one. And he's kind of all over the place right now. He's really good. He was in that movie First Reformed. He's in the HBO series. What's it called? The one with Mark Ruffalo. I don't remember what it's called. But anyways, yeah, it was really beautiful. And it wasn't a caricature piece. I think that's something I really appreciated about it, was like it didn't make the people in Appalachia look like they weren't caricatures, which I think sometimes people who go into a place that feels different to them kind of like amp up all the, quirks for kind of exploitation. And this one wasn't that. It was just like very much like an observational film almost. It was beautiful.
What about Deadly Daughter Switch?
Oh.
Are you mean in that one too?
Yes, that one I am. Yes. Yeah, that one was another super campy one. I think I'm trying. Oh no, my daughter, and it turns out my daughter and another girl were switched at birth. And the other mom is kind of trying to get her daughter, they're trying to figure out who goes with who now. And I'm a poor single mom, and this other one's like married and rich. And so now it turns out my daughter seems to want to go there. And so she's going to get both girls, and I'm going to have nobody. So I do end up killing everyone, because I want to keep my daughter. So of course I keep, it's what you do.
Well, it wasn't her fault that the girls were switched.
It wasn't. No. I mean, she's just doing the best she can, right? And the best she can involves multiple stabbings.
Problem solving. And you get a few films in pre-production. I don't know how much you can go into, you get manipulation, and what can you talk about there?
So manipulation is actually, I can't say anything about that one right now.
Okay.
But hopefully we'll be able to soon. King Richard, I think you probably see that one.
Yeah.
That one I'm really excited about. That one has Will Smith and Ingenue Ellis and John Bernthal. It's about Venus and Serena Williams, their father, Richard Williams. So it's really about the three of them together, but it's really about how like his belief in them and his, pushing them really made them the champions that they are. So that's coming out in the fall, and I'm really excited about that.
Oh, gee, Tony Goldwyn is in that. He was in the car with Nancy McLaughlin and Jason Lives.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, don't get in a car with him, because he doesn't make the situation go well.
Wait, was he the guy in the car with Nancy?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the one that probably should not have got all macho with Jason.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that.
Yep, that is him. What was it like working with Will Smith and John Barenthal?
They were not in any of my scenes, unfortunately.
They're probably afraid of you.
Yeah, I was in a scene with Venus. So
Okay.
I play a tennis mom. That's all I can say. Yeah.
You play tennis?
I did play tennis. I played like a semester, spring term.
Yeah.
My year. I wasn't very good, but yeah.
So when are you gonna do a movie with Nancy?
I don't know. We'll see.
You know what? Out of all these movies that we mentioned, what would you recommend that I watch if I get the chance?
Oh, I think you should watch Off the Rails. I love that one.
Off the Rails?
It's a genuinely good movie. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I love that movie. You can also watch, you should also watch The Evening Hour.
Okay.
You can also watch The Rule of Three, which is a short film that just came out. And it's really good. It's a horror film about a woman with severe OCD who decides she does everything 3 times. And her therapist counsels her, in order to break this, like, she needs to just stop. She needs to do one thing, not 3 times. And so she does. And the film is about what happens when she doesn't do it. And it's really good. It's really good. And we've gotten some really good press about it. Especially because we released it during Mental Health Awareness Month. And OCD is, it's a real thing. And we just got some really complimentary press about how it was a really sympathetic portrayal and also a really empowering portrayal. So on one hand, like, I'm really proud of it because I think we did a good job, but also it's just a really fun, crazy horror film, and it's good. Yeah. So you should watch that. You can watch it at the link in my Instagram because I have it. I have all my stuff there.
Okay.
It's just on YouTube. Yeah.
Do you have any charities that you're involved with?
Yeah, actually. Yeah. So my family and I actually support children through both World Vision and Compassion International. So we contribute money every month, and that goes to help. We support 2 children through Compassion. One is in Ecuador, and the other one's in Zambia, and then the other child is through World Vision, and she's in Palestine. And so I'm really passionate about children having what they need. I think seeing children in poverty is one of the saddest things to me. And we also support a few missions here in Los Angeles. So Midnight Mission is a homeless shelter, Los Angeles Mission. And then I'm also involved in my church, which we do a lot of just like help around the city. We have a specific designated section of our church that goes to just help people who are in need in our area.
That is one thing that Nancy and I have in common. We both come from the Christian faith, and so we go back and forth, yeah. So that is one strong part for us.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Name the charity that you name a charity to me. I'll make a donation to it in return for a Doubtfire Face challenge for suicide and depression awareness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Let's do Compassion International.
Compassion International?
Compassion International.
Would you mind sending the link to me so that I can make... Huh?
I would be glad to.
Yep. I friended you on Facebook, so...
okay.
Yep. Yeah. because I did that with Nancy. I think with her, it was a homeless shelter I
Okay.
made a donation to. And I do that because I'm trying to get the industry involved. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done this twice, but nobody wants to see me do it. I did it so that I'm not throwing something out to people that I wouldn't do myself, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and Nancy said, yeah, you pitch it to her, you know?
Oh, I'll definitely do it. So I just
Yeah.
have to take a pie to the face.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any
And
flavor?
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, and nominate 3 people if you know people in the industry.
Okay.
Yep,
That's super fun.
yep. And you could either pie yourself, or if you want to, you get Nancy to pie you.
As long as it's a good pie, so I can, take what's left and eat it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. I've done that. I've had a few people that I've donated to their charities and then they not come through, and I'm like,
Oh,
it bothers me when people do that, especially
yeah,
when they could have an influence out there
right.
long more than me.
Yeah. That's super frustrating. Well, maybe you say as soon as you do this, I'll press send on that donation.
Well, send me the thing. Compassion International, send me the link. I'll make a donation. I've got no problem doing that. I don't mind. It's a good charity.
Yeah.
But come through my end, do the Doubt Fire Face challenge and
Okay.
throw it out to 3 people, and I'll you can put it up on your end, and when my brother gets technical stuff ready, he'll put it up on my YouTube as well.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I got a playlist of them, and I still got some to put up there, and I just don't know how to do it.
That's so fun.
Yeah, no, I grew up with that kind of humor, so I was like, this is better than the ice bucket challenge to me.
It's very like Groucho Marx, or what are they that, I love it when they have the whipping cream pie, but then there's like the full on eye and nose hole already. You can tell that they just like applied it.
Hmm. Have you ever been pie before?
No,
Well, there you go. You're gonna do your first.
it's gonna be fun.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. And Nancy did it. Nancy did it with a cake
Oh
because
my
it was like Mrs. Doubtfire. I should send you the link to that because hers was pretty funny. But yeah, so that's what I'll do. Compassion International, send me the link to that. I'll make a donation. You do a Doubtfire Face challenge, and
I'll do it.
yeah,
I'm taking your hand.
you
Gonna
shaking my hand. You're
Yep.
shaking my hand with your beautiful. Let me see those fingernails. Is that violet?
It's like kind of blue.
Blue violet. Looks violet from this end, but
Yeah, like blue violet.
blue
Yeah.
violet. Yeah. So where did your husband find you?
He found me at a party. We had mutual friends who were going to the Peace Corps, and
Uh-huh.
they had a going away party for themselves. And so we just met and hit it off.
I want to go to a party like that. They got women as
Yeah.
beautiful as you there.
Well,
Is he an actor too?
no, he's not. He's actually, so he does a couple things. He sells reclaimed wood, but he's
Okay.
also actually the worship pastor at the church that we go to.
You know what? I don't go to church anymore because I've had some bad experiences,
Sure.
but I
Yeah.
still read my Bible. Got my Bible over there. I grew up in the church. My family is heavily believers.
Yeah.
And so I believe very much. This is one thing I love talking to Nancy about, because I
Yeah.
don't like preaching to anybody, but Nancy and I can talk about our beliefs and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, but do you have a favorite book in the Bible?
Oh, I love the Psalms. I'm kind of living in Psalm 103 right now
Okay.
because it's just so beautiful. It's such a beautiful picture of God's love for us. I have it memorized, in fact. I just have made it my mission to memorize it this week. So I went
Say it.
through a really hard season
Uh-huh.
over the last couple years, and the first 6 verses were like life to me. Can I say it to you?
Yeah, please go for it. Yeah.
I can bless your listeners with this. Okay.
Yeah.
Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgives all your sins, who heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from the pit, who crowns you with steadfast love and mercy, who satisfies you with good as long as you live, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. The Lord works righteousness and justice for all the oppressed. He made known his ways to Moses, his deeds to the people of Israel. Maybe I don't have it all the way memorized. But it's good, so I'm going to. Okay. The Lord is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love. He will not always accuse, nor will he harbor his anger forever. He does not treat us as our sins deserve, nor repay us according to our iniquities. For as high, here's what I love, as high as the heavens are above the earth, so great is his love for those who fear him. Mm-hmm. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. As a father has compassion on his children, so the Lord has compassion on those who fear him, for he knows how we are made. He remembers that we are dust. The life of mortals is like grass. They flourish like a flower of the field. The wind blows over it and it's gone, and its place remembers it no more. But from everlasting to everlasting, the Lord's love is with those who fear him, and his righteousness with their children's children's, with those who keep his covenant and remember to obey his precepts. The Lord has established his throne in heaven, and his kingdom rules over all. Praise the Lord, you his angels, you mighty ones who do his bidding, who obey his word. Praise the Lord, all his heavenly hosts, you his servants who do his will. Praise the Lord, all his works, everywhere in his dominion. Praise the Lord, O my soul.
Oh, that was great.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Right?
You want me to tell you what my favorite verse is? And I don't even know what book it's in. But I love that verse that says, in thy house there are many mansions.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
yeah.
I love the picture that the book of Revelations presents of the heavenly city and, the new heaven, the new earth, and the heavenly city. And they say, in thy house there are many mansions. Mm-hmm. And you can imagine, it just paints a beautiful picture. Yeah.
I know. And Jesus says that my Father's house, there's many rooms for you, and I'm going there to prepare a place for you.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I feel like there's a lot of misunderstanding, I think, about who God is, I think. And both of those verses, like the one I read and then what you just said too, I just think God is so much better than we know. I think he's so much more loving. I love the verse where he says, he knows how we're formed. He remembers that we're dust. It's like God is not actually looking down on us to be angry. He's actually so compassionate, and he remembers that he formed us out of dust and blew life into us. Like that God is actually a good God who loves us, all of us.
Although I got to admit, I wish the Pureflix movies were better than they are.
Oh,
those are. I love the Passion of the Christ, though. That was done well.
Yeah, Pureflix. I have not actually watched any of those, but I believe you.
I don't like the company Movie Guide. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but I just love it how they slap 4 stars on any Kirk Cameron movie.
Oh, okay.
But I thought the thought was funny. They did an article about Reminiscence did poorly at the box office.
Reminiscence, really?
And I kind of liked it. I like Rebecca Ferguson.
I do too. I love her.
Yeah, but it's kind of like and they said, people only want to see pro family. Number one, I never wanted kids. I got a cat. That's fine with me. I get tired of this movie guy pushing this whole family, that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with somebody being single? I think if somebody wants children, to have them. But here's what they say, that the only movies that have family values do well. And I'm like, okay, what's their excuse for Boss Baby 2 and Peter Rabbit 2? They didn't do very well.
Yeah.
Or
And there's such a need for just good movies. They don't need to be, I mean, that's a disservice that I think that's one of the misinterpretations of that the church has done, is that like families are the only ones that matter, or like you don't matter unless you're married and have kids, you know. Like I think that's actually comes from the church a little bit, which is a little bit unfortunate. And some of the church, not always. And but yeah, like there's a real need for just good stories that that aren't necessarily Christian stories, or that aren't about families. There's just a need for good stories, good art, you know, about all things, all humans.
And I'd be quick to point out to them, the Passion of the Christ is not only not family friendly, but it almost got an X rating.
It was so violent, yeah.
But I enjoyed it. Mel Gibson was actually did a great job filming that. It's funny, if I go to a horror film convention, you know, I could wear a Passion of the Christ t-shirt and I could blend right in, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a real need for just good art. And yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. And Nancy shared a really interesting story about Jason Lives, because of course the little girl in the film was named after her, Nancy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
Well, here's something I found really interesting, and I love this. You know, Jason is peering over her bed and she starts praying, you know, because she was told to say a little prayer and blah, 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 everything goes away. She says the prayer, and of course, Jason hears the cops showing up and he gets kind of leaves, and she opens her eyes and he's not there, and she looks under the bed. But I kind of love that idea that, you know, she said the prayer and she was fine. You know, I love that. And it was so subtle, but it was just a moment I appreciated in it. So yeah, Nancy and I've had that very nice connection, you know, and
yeah.
And you're not the first person I've had on here that I have not seen your work before. I had you on here today because I knew Nancy would never send somebody my way that I'm going to tell you something. Might have been 2, maybe 3 months ago. I had interviewed somebody, and I had somebody post a comment on a post I made on Facebook, and he asked me, do you interview Aussie filmmakers, like Australian? His name was David Black. I'd never heard of him.
Okay.
But my response to him was absolutely. And I looked him up, and I had not seen a single thing he'd done. But it didn't matter. And when we got on there, it was like I worked the back shift, so it was like early in the morning for me, and it was like late at night for him in Australia. Yeah. He said, we probably won't get any more than an hour. And I thought maybe a half hour because I didn't know any of his work. We talked for 2.5 hours. And he chuckled about that. And I was like, you know, and I'm not saying this to pat myself in the back, but I do have a knack of trying to even if I haven't seen the films, I'm able to bring that out. I got to see your films. You're stunning. You tell your husband he's lucky, and I said so.
Thanks.
Yeah. But when Nancy mentioned you, she said you should have Hannah Barefoot on, because she's always talking about people that are in her pool or are staying in the yeah. And so I said, sure. I said, send Hannah my way. Of course, you became her repair person as well.
Oh, technical IT repair.
I'd never met Nancy personally, but it's funny, you'd never know that because actually back in 2016, I won this.
What's that?
It's 2016 Critics' Choice Best Spoken Word, Python's Paradise at CHSR. That's the station I'm affiliated with on campus, but it's still closed. Cool. Nancy was actually the one that told me to get on Zoom.
Oh, because you were
yeah.
doing audio before?
I was just doing audio, and I had, after lockdown, I had no way to do this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That makes
So she said if she can do Zoom, I could do Zoom.
true.
And you're number 88 this year, so
Dude, Zoom Pro now.
yeah. But the reason I bring this up, when I was nominated for this, I put a post on Facebook about it, and I won. I was so happy to win this. And I remember afterwards, I called Nancy, and I didn't hear a hello. I heard a, I knew you'd win.
Yeah.
She was
She's
such,
like that.
yeah. And
Yeah.
boy, I love her red hair. I got to tell you,
Yeah.
she has
She's
got
cool.
such cool red hair.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
does. She's a
Yep.
pretty special lady. Her last voicemail to me yesterday was, I'm gonna find you.
Oh, Nancy is wonderful, and I'm so glad that she connected us today. And I'm going to keep an eye on you. I'm going to try
Yeah,
to see some of these films, but because I
do.
would love to have you back.
Sure.
Yeah, at
I'm
some.
not, I'll be honest, I'm not really on Facebook, so I didn't know you had friended me. But if you're on Instagram, that's where you can keep up with me. And that's
Yeah.
connect with you. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where I list all my stuff. I took down my website because I was like, this is silly. I don't need a website. I just need my Instagram and Vimeo and IMDb. So yeah.
Yeah. Does your husband have a favorite movie that you've done?
Let me think about that. It's a good question. He he really liked one called Blood, Sweat, and Lies, which is actually a really good movie. It was
Uh-huh.
a thriller as well. But it was really good. It was an entertaining, super entertaining movie about a girl who decides to get fit because like out of revenge for her boyfriend breaking up with her. I play the woman or the girl, and then her personal trainer turns out to be obsessed with her, and it gets crazy. But I was actually a really good movie. But I think my husband really will be excited about the movie that I've written that is going to be made soon. I hope. I'm in talks with a production company to hopefully make a film that I've written that's set in Wyoming.
What's it called?
I'm not going to say anything yet, but it's set at a dude ranch, so it's a bit of a modern day Western.
A dude ranch like The Big Lebowski?
No, no. Nobody outside of Wyoming knows what a dude ranch is. That's so funny. I have to explain it. This is not a slam on you. I'm just like reminding myself that there are a lot of people who don't live in Wyoming. Dude ranches are basically working ranches that you can go to. Oh, hi, kitty.
Skittles, you're gonna get embarrassed on here again today.
Oh, cutie. I love cats. Benny, come here. Come here. Come here,
A kitty.
I have cats, but here's my dog. Benny.
You call your cat and the dog comes.
I know. This is my dog.
Look at that kitty. Look at that.
Oh,
Look at the doggy. Look at the doggy.
He's my favorite. Skittles, she's so cute, or he's cute.
Yeah. Hi, Skittles.
Yeah.
What's that look for? Skittles says you're using me for hits on the YouTube.
Half hour. Oh, poor little animals. Yeah, so a dude ranch is actually like a working ranch that you can go and pay money at and stay at. And like learn to ride horses, and it's really fun. So that's where my film is set. And it's set actually at some friends of mine, their actual ranch.
You gonna have Nancy in it?
No, there's no role for Nancy in it. Although there might be a role for Nancy in it. We'll see.
Are you gonna be in it?
Oh yeah, I've written it for myself. Yeah.
That's right. You have to be in it.
Yeah.
Woody Allen stars in his films. You got to star in yours.
Oh yeah. No, I've written it. Definitely written it for myself.
You directing it?
Maybe. We'll see. I haven't directed anything yet, but I would like to. I've produced several things, and I've written things before. There's a short film that I actually just posted online today, even though we finished it a few years ago, and it went to 17 film festivals. It's called Incendio, and it's an action short film. I wrote it along with the concept came from me, and then I co-wrote it with the guy who ended up directing it. And it's basically about a blind date that goes very, very wrong. And I wrote it because at the time I was just always getting cast as like the sweet girl next door, and I was just so bored. And so
Sweet girl next door, every movie you brought up, you're playing somebody getting revenge on somebody in a thriller.
Well, this movie actually helped with that, because this movie, I like, there's just some really good action scenes in it. And
you do your own stunts when you do action?
I do usually, yeah. I mean, unless I'm doing something crazy. But yeah, all of this is just me. And it's me and my partner, I should say, my scene partner, Eris. Eris Jusen, he was the stunt choreographer. Yeah, I can send it to you. It's 6 minutes long, and it's
sure.
Really, because of that, actually, that film, it did really well in festivals. It went to 17 film festivals internationally. And because I actually now have that footage, that's what got me into playing different roles that are way more interesting to me. So I still can play the girl next door, and I still do, but I get to also play the really fun ones. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, the woman that first invited me to my first convention, Lisa Langlois, she did the Doubtfire Challenge, by the way. She was in a movie called Class of 1984 that was shot in Canada, and it was an early film with Michael J. Fox.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Back when he was Michael Fox. But she plays part of a gang in it, so she does not play a nice character.
Yeah.
And she became the one that invited me to my first con, and she and I have been friends ever since.
Oh, nice.
And yeah. Nancy keeps telling me, come on out to California, come on out. I say baby steps because I'm 49, and I never left left the province of New Brunswick until 2017. And it's all because Lisa invited me to. I couldn't turn that down. I knew about that movie since the 80s, and I got the bug at the cons. Have you ever done the cons?
I've done one. I did Rose City Comic Con, yeah, in Portland, but not really. But they seem like tons of fun.
What's the most interesting thing you've ever been asked to sign?
Oh, well, my own clothing. There was a woman who wanted to buy my clothes off me. So I don't wear these shoes anymore. Sure. So I signed it and she gave them to her. So
I guess I had this image. You signed your own clothes. She wanted your clothes, and I was like, what, were you naked out there?
No, it's just my shoes. My shoes, Greg.
The police scanner comes up. We got a streaker in town.
Yeah, not happening.
And then you that looked good on a police report. I signed my clothes away, literally.
Yeah. No, it's just like she wanted my clothes, and I was like, yeah. I mean, this was all done over the internet. I wasn't like in front of her.
Oh, okay.
I yelled into her. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good thing you explained that. I thought like
that was about to get weird.
Well, I love the cons. I'm trying to see if we can get Nancy to more of them, and
yeah.
I've looked into that and see what I could do. I did hook her up with Sean Clark, so hopefully that'll open some things up for her.
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, the Bad Girls is what been hooked me up with the cons for the first time, and the Bad Girls are good.
They're the most interesting.
There you go.
And
But
they're usually really nice people.
well, you know what? In wrestling, I find a lot of wrestlers like playing the heels. Yep, that's what I hear.
I don't know what that means. The heels. Is that like
Face means good guy, heel means bad guy.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
Ric Flair spent most of his career as a heel, and he was good at it.
That's
But
cool. I know nothing about wrestling, but playing the bad person is usually way more interesting. It just is. There's more to do. There's usually more colors. There's like, I don't know. I mean, it depends on the project. It depends on how well written the project is. If the project is really well written, then every character is interesting.
well, you mentioned stunts earlier. What's the most? Have you had any stunt that stood out that might have been the most dangerous or pushing the limits for you?
Let me think about that.
Besides deflating Nancy's watermelon in her pool?
Yeah, unfortunately. No, I think truthfully, on sets that are regulated, so SAG-AFTRA sets, even if you do your own stunts, I have not had it happen where I've ever been actually in danger, because they're so careful. I know that things happen, but I'm not a stunt person. I should clarify. So like there have been 2 movies that I've been in. Well, one, a TV show, Good Girls Revolt, and then a movie, A Bride's Revenge, and I had to do a stair fall and go down like 10 very hard stone steps. And they didn't have me do that. And I would not have done that because I'm not trained to do that. But what's cool, you should totally have a stunt person.
I've actually interviewed at the top of my head 3 stunt women on here.
That's cool. I mean, that's amazing. So I had the same stunt person for both. So I had done Good Girls Revolt first, and then this next one came up, and I was like, I know a great person who can fall downstairs. She's done it before. We look similar. And so Tammy Baird, she's an amazing stunt woman, and she has fallen down 2 flights of stairs for me, which is amazing.
Tammy Baird.
She can literally do anything. Yeah.
I've interviewed Marlene Lynn Fields, who is a stunt person, but she also appears on screen in The Gauntlet with Clint Eastwood.
Oh, cool.
I've interviewed Jean Coulter, who she talked about a massive accident she had on the set of Cujo.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And Lisa Hoyle, who I'm looking to get back on here. Lisa Hoyle is seen on screen in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas during the circus scene where have you seen that movie?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's been a long time ago.
You know, in the circus where they have the person going down and lands on the net and it looks like a pregnant woman, and they do the hammer thing and the baby shoots out. It's actually a doll and somebody catches it. That the woman catching it was Lisa Hoyle, and she does these stunts where she goes back and forth and this and that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Lisa's awesome. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, there are some of the stunts that they do are so dangerous, but I've never been. I am an actor first, and then when I say I do my own stunts, it means I've done like fight choreography. I would never actually. It can't really say that I am like a stunt person because I'm really not. But I can fight. So
you practice that on your husband?
No, but it's really fun. It's so much fun. So like this film that I wrote, there's all sorts of like bottles smashing on each other. There's a moment where he's like smashing my face into the table, and you like hit it really hard, and then you come up with blood all over yourself because of the way the camera is done. And then you like stop and you apply makeup all over yourself, and then I hit him with a thing, and I don't know. It's all about camera angles, and because you never actually make contact with each other. That's what's so amazing. It's just so cool.
Oh, wow.
Making movies is the funnest.
And you like to fight.
I do. I really do. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I had so much fun having you on here today, you know?
Me too. Thank you.
See, I don't know how long this interview went, but see, we did fine.
Yeah. Looks like 1:05. So an hour and 5 minutes.
There you go. Well, I'm 4 hours ahead of you here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we're
5 o'clock.
yep.
It's happy hour.
Not for me. I gotta go to work tonight.
Oh, okay.
I work as a cleaner. I worked through this pandemic,
Yeah.
so I worked through the whole thing. I'm double vaxxed and everything. And
Yeah.
so I did that so I could go to Toronto. Otherwise,
Hey,
huh?
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can travel. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have gotten the vaccine otherwise because it's like I don't work around enough people,
Mm.
you know.
Hmm.
Um, so I did it so I could travel, and
Hmm.
I want to do the con this fall. It's been 2
Yeah.
years since I had a vacation, so
Yeah.
I kind of needed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, how have you been handling the pandemic?
Oh, it's been hard, but yeah, I mean, it's just like a lonely time, not being able to see people. I'm glad that that part's over, for the most part. Um, I got the vaccination as well, and I felt like for me it was really about, I just wanted to be able to be with people, like I want to be able to see people, and so if that's the ticket to doing that, then I have no problem with it. Like we
It
just
didn't affect me. Did it affect you?
not at all, not at all.
No?
I had like a sore arm, and then I was
Yeah, same here.
done. Yeah.
I had
So,
to get a new car the day I got my second one because my old car stalled on a busy
oh
street.
shoot, that's bad.
Yeah, so I didn't have time to be sick with it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
No. Yeah. Work really shut down. I didn't work much last year. I did a couple indie projects. I did one TV show, but it was really just done. It was so slow. But fortunately, this year's been busy, really busy. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm so happy to have you on here today. And I love the fact, just like with Nancy, I was able to share faith talk with you as well, which I don't
Yeah.
get to do that a whole lot. So
Yeah.
so you're my sister in Christ,
Indeed.
just like
Indeed.
Nancy.
Yep.
That is
Like,
awesome.
yeah. Yeah, it is awesome.
That is very awesome. Your husband's a pastor?
He is, yeah. Yeah, he's a worship pastor. So he is an amazing musician, and he kind of creates all of the, for anyone who doesn't know what a worship pastor is, there's like different elements to it's a we go to a Protestant church, and different elements to the service usually, and he kind of crafts all of the just like worship and prayer parts, so
Yeah.
singing, and he leads a
Did you say a
band.
Protestant church?
Yeah, Protestant
Yeah,
church.
that's what I grew up in too.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That is so interesting. Yeah. I also I had somebody ask me last night, when you pray for somebody, do you actually do it? And I say, yeah, because that term thoughts and prayers got through around a lot last year with
Yeah.
I won't get into the politics, but
I know. I
but
do think that's, yeah.
because I had somebody,
Yeah, we need to
one of my guests was going through a real
do
tough time, and she asked me if I really prayed for her. I said, yeah,
it.
yeah, before I go to bed. That's
Mhm.
when I say my prayers. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that's interesting. I think that's wonderful, and I think having Nancy as a friend is a benefit to both of us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Yep. So you got to keep Nancy in close vicinity.
Yeah. She's special.
Yeah. Fill that swimming pool up with more stuff.
Over a watermelon.
Yeah, you gotta get another watermelon.
Yeah, I do. I do.
I just had this image of you in the watermelon,
Deflated.
floating on the deflated watermelon.
Yeah.
I can't swim, so I can't imagine. But some people just have fun in a swimming pool. So
Oh yeah. Well, you never too late to learn. It's a good time.
Well,
Swimming is a good.
my cat can't swim, so we don't swim together.
There you go. Because you can not be in a pool along with your cat.
I'm not afraid of water, it's just not something I ever picked up,
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I won't keep you from your jog, you and your sneakers on, so you're not barefoot today.
Not today. Gotta go hiking.
Gotta go hiking. You going hiking with anybody?
Yes, I am. I'm gonna go hiking with my friend who's an actress that we worked together a lot. She was in Portland with me and now she's up here as well.
I thought you were going to say you were going to go hiking with Nancy.
Not today. I may be helping her with an audition later.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It was wonderful having you on here. When this is ready, I'll send you the link, and it'll be unlisted on YouTube until I put up 5 a month.
Okay.
So I don't know when this will go public. However, you'll have permission to put it up on your Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to put it, I always, because that way you don't have to wait for me.
Okay.
And the reason I do that is my former station manager had told me when I started doing this, she said, don't put all your interviews up at once, save some for a rainy day.
Right.
The rainy day turned out to be COVID, because when
yeah.
COVID lockdown hit, I had about 150 interviews I could still put on my YouTube.
Right. That's so great. That's really smart.
Yeah. So like yeah. So when this is ready, you can put it up wherever you want to before I put it public. So you'll have my permission.
Okay, cool.
And then Nancy can tune in and hear us talk about her.
Talk about her. Yeah.
Well, God bless you, Hannah, and I hope to have you back again. And send me the link to does it Compassion International?
I will. Yes, I will. I will.
Yeah, and don't forget to do it. Huh?
Okay. And then I'll do the thing.
You do that and nominate 3 people. Nominate 3 people in the industry if you can.
I will. I will.
Absolutely. God bless you.
God bless you too. Appreciate it.
Have a wonderful hike.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.